Welcome back, Patriots, to another episode of the Bald Brad Show. It is officially, December 17th. 3 more days, and then we're only 4 weeks out from having Joe Biden out of office and Mr. 47 back in. And I'll tell you, we need the man. I keep saying this, but boy, oh boy, not only do we need him, but the world needs him. Joe Biden is sabotaging this country. I cannot believe the things we're seeing from this man and how people in the millions still decide to stick with that party. There's a thing called the Independent Party. Just switch over to them. The Democrats aren't even anything they resembled from the past. At least Republicans are still the same. Like, if anything, we've gone further center. They keep going, well, you guys gone further left. Give me a break. So Donald Trump's given us a lot more information. He is being briefed on things, so I'm going to reveal that to you, especially the things with going on with the drones. We got some updates here regarding that. We also have Joe Biden just gone. His own staffers, or people at least around him, are saying that he's quote-unquote dead, not literally dead, but cognitively just far gone. And a bunch of other news to get to. So Patriots, it's great seeing all of you. We're back with another show here, folks. So if you could support us by hitting that like button, it really does help. It's not one of those things that's a waste of time. It does support getting our videos out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. So hit that like and subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Now, there's still these drones flying around. And now some of them are just airplanes and people can't tell the difference. How do I know that? Because I'm seeing cell phone video of people going, there's a drone. And it's like, that's clearly as day a plane that's just going to land at the nearby airport. So we got Trump giving us some updates here on the drone mystery. And not only do presidents still get intelligence after they're done being president, this is a very common thing. It happened with Bush Sr., Bush Jr., Clinton, all those things. They still get information. They're allowed to read the documents, but he's also being briefed as the president-elect. And he gives you a little bit of a, I don't want to say a wink and a nod, but he did confirm that the United States government, specifically our military, knows what these things are. So here he is.
Good to see you. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drone?
There, look at the sharks, man. Look at the vultures. Now, look. He's being briefed on this stuff, and he told everybody we know what these things are. And he goes, I don't know why Joe's not telling all of you. And I would imagine, I'm hoping that if there was a lost nuke, that he would say something, or maybe on these briefings, they're going, look, if we tell everybody that there's a lost nuclear warhead in New Jersey or on the East Coast or some sort of malicious biologic that could be let loose into the water stream and kill a bunch of people, there's going to be mass hysteria, Mr. President, and you're not going to see anything like this before. It's better just to hold out and see if we can find it. Who knows? But we can guarantee that our military from Donald Trump knows what these are, where they're coming from. They're most likely ours. And for some reason, Joey wants to hold out and he doesn't want to say anything. Now, all you're doing here as a government and as the executive branch is allowing people to theorize what it may or may not be, which just creates more problems, because the more stuff you want to sit there and hide from us, the less likely we're to believe in you, and the more likely we're going to believe those kind of crazy theories that are out there. Folks, even the theory that I gave with the nuke out there is crazy. Even I admit that one. There's people, no offense to the Patriots in the chat, some people are saying, look, there's vials that were taken full of these viruses that they're going to drop in the water. It's a crazy theory. Is it all plausible? Yes. That's also crazy that it's all plausible. Bonkers stuff. So if you missed yesterday's episode, there was a guy that went viral from Joe Rogan, who is a contractor for the military, I believe, but also does drones, and saying that he believes it's trying to sniff out radiation. And when you're trying to sniff out radiation, well, nuclear warheads let off radiation. So we're going to see and keep you updated on all of that. But if you want to know mostly what the drones could be used for, it's probably Chris Christie getting a little bit of Mickey D's delivered to him. So that also could be what it is, and they don't want to be mean, you know? Maybe they're going to do some sort of lawsuit on Joey or Trump or everybody. Who the heck knows? So there you go. That's Chris Christie for you. Good morning, folks. I see in the chat. Now, we also have the White House commenting on this, specifically John Kirby. And John Kirby says, drones flying over the country are lawful. Nothing indicates a public safety risk, says top White House official, which is John Kirby here. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy queued up for all of you. They always like to show an ad beforehand, and well, we're not going to give them the plug they deserve.
Definitely not a consumer. I know what we pay for our drones, and we can't afford what's up in the sky in New Jersey right now. These are large devices that are in the sky. And of course, one of the problems we have is to differentiate what's real and what's not real.
That's the Ocean County sheriff in New Jersey talking about the situation in the sky. Joining us now to talk about these mysterious drones flying over parts of the U.S., White House National Security Communications Advisor, retired Admiral John Kirby. John, thanks for being here. Okay. You hear all of these officials. You've heard a lot of concern, a lot of coverage. Where are you tonight on this?
As we look at the information we've got, Brett, and we've now examined some 5,000 different sightings, we've added detection capabilities, additional observers. As you and I stand here today, to date, our assessment is that this is lawful, legal, commercial, hobbyist, and even law enforcement aircraft activity. Some of it's manned, some of it's unmanned. We absolutely acknowledge that a lot of these are probably drones, but they're flying legally. And it is legal to fly drones in non-restricted airspace as long as you're registered with the FAA. And there's thousands and thousands of these kinds of flights every single day. I think there's more than 1 million drones that are registered with the FAA just in the United States alone.
But this is different, it seems. These are bigger. They're 6 feet in diameter, a lot of them. There was a reporter the other day that saw 50 coming from the coast at one, pack. I know when you first came out, you said that most of these are manned. Can you concede that maybe most of these are not manned?
Well, I said was at the time, and this was Thursday, when we were not as informed as we are today based on the resources we have applied to the problem set. I said many of the reported sightings we believe to be manned aircraft. That was true when we said it on Thursday. We still believe, Brett, that some of these are, in fact, manned aircraft. I couldn't give you a breakdown of what percentage, but we do believe that still some of these sightings are in fact manned aircraft. We also acknowledge that a lot of them are unmanned aircraft. But again, our assessment to date, given all the work that we've done, the FBI, state and local officials, that these are legal and lawful drones flying for the common good.
Okay, the Homeland Security Secretary said over the weekend that right now they don't have any foreign involvement, criminal activity. We don't see them as a national security concern. How can you get to that point? How can you get to that conclusion with what you're seeing?
Because we've done the analysis. We've done the detection and the analysis. We've corroborated the sightings. And in every case that we have examined to date, we have seen nothing that indicates a public safety risk. There are drones flying over the skies of the United States every single night, every single day, and we've seen nothing in and around New Jersey that should give the people on the ground there concerns for their safety for this activity. And we've seen nothing, working with the Department of Defense as well, that indicates a foreign adversary actor involved or any kind of pernicious national security threat. Now, there have been some drone sightings, I think, as you know, over some military bases. We're obviously looking at that. That is a different category, and DOD has different authorities to deal with that. But again, we've also seen no disruption of operations at our bases in New Jersey either from any of this.
Okay, here's the president-elect today.
See what he has to say about this.
What's your answer to that?
Well, I think it goes back to the first question you asked me, Brett. I mean, we have made an assessment based on the work we've done thus far, and our assessment is that this is lawful and legal activity, whether it's manned or unmanned. Again, we see no indication of a national security or public safety risk.
Okay, but there are so many of them, John.
Assessment.
There are so many of them, John. If this was happening over Delaware, Rehoboth Beach, would you be a little bit more concerned? I mean, I guess the people of New Jersey wonder why it took so long to get to the point you are now. And if you see all of this, doesn't a local authority need the authority to be able to deal with it? Is it something Congress has to pass? Because they want to say, I don't want a 6-foot wide diameter refrigerator flying over my house and falling on my roof.
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it, Brett, because we absolutely do want to see congressional action. The Biden administration proposed legislation for counter UAS authorities, additional authorities, to close some of the gaps and seams that you're talking about, not only between our own agencies here in the federal government, but the gaps that exist between us and state and local authorities. We absolutely want to see that legislation, and President Biden's calling for a bipartisan task force on Capitol Hill to do exactly that, to try to drive some legislative remedies. I think everybody, and I think we all understand this, Brett. I mean, we're in a new ecosystem in terms of unmanned aircraft in this country. Again, all legal and lawful and doing the right thing for the public good, but it's a brand new ecosystem. There are more systems flying, more purposes over more cities than ever before.
Why does he keep saying for the public
good?
And
the authorities and the gaps and seams that those authorities don't give us have not kept up with that ecosystem, and so we want to see that driving forward.
All right, last thing. You don't see any linkage between the number of, that this is all tied together in one thing. You think these are all different elements and different kinds of drones, not with one company, not with the military, not with the DOE, Department of Energy. You don't say that they're looking for some nuclear material. You say these are all different flying objects, some of them manned, some not.
Our assessment to date is that, Brett, that this is a collection of law enforcement, hobbyists, commercial drones, and of course civil aviation aircraft that have caused all these sightings. And it's not attributable to an actor for a purpose. And again, I want to stress to your viewers, we don't see anything that indicates a national security or a public safety threat. The last thing I'll say, Brett, and I appreciate the time you're giving me, is this is an ongoing investigation. We're still working our way through this. Sightings continue to come in.
All right, whatever, John. Whatever. The reason why I wanted to listen to the whole thing was because I want to hear the way he's talking, his lingo, for the public good. Well, it's lawful. They have a right to do it. Well, yeah, but isn't it also lawful for the United States government to be flying drones as long as they have the correct, indicators that it is in fact like a drone or a plane, right? With the lights and the blinkers, all those things. So, I don't know what to believe, but when Donald Trump says something weird is going on and he's being briefed, and then he follows up going, look, they know what these things are. They're just not willing to tell you. Well, then what's that all about? You know what I mean? So, look, I'm more inclined to believe Donald Trump, not just because I voted for him 3 times, by the way, but because John Kirby and the Biden administration have lied so many times to my face. I stopped keeping count actually 2 years ago. I stopped keeping count after the classified documents briefing with John Kirby, Karine Jean-Pierre, Jake Sullivan, Ian Sams, everybody. And they lied to us for an entire week straight to our face and got called out for it. And we counted minimum 4 times. There's a possible 5th that would have been lied to our face if you did a little bit more digging. I mean, the list goes on, right? The Russia hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop. Like, that's the problem when your government lies to you so many times. We're less likely to believe them and our fellow countrymen when I say, oh, there's 50 drones flying in, Peg. Oh, my God, look at them all. I'm probably more inclined to believe that dude than John Kirby, which is kind of sad because I don't really want to believe that there's 50 drones coming from freaking nowhere out of the ocean into our homeland. But knowing what Joey's doing on a sabotage to this country, maybe there's something going on. Again, the title of today's episode is Joe Biden sabotaging the Trump campaign in America, selling our freaking border wall for pennies on the dollar. He's sitting there allowing more illegal aliens to pour across our border. He's allowing freaking terrorists to thrive in our country. That's a real thing. Become a member. It's 99 cents. We got a video up right now. It is probably, I would probably say I've done over 2,000 videos here on YouTube. I'm probably over 2,000 at this point. It's probably top 10 videos. You might be saying, well, Brad, why don't you just release it to everybody if it's so important? Because I want to make members only content. They pay their hard-earned money to the show. Yes, they could get that video for free somewhere else, but you don't get the reaction, the commentary, the bald Brad effort. So check that out. 99 cents a month, folks. You can become a member. Check out that video that we posted over the weekend. And I really do. I'm not just saying that to plug the membership. Probably one of our top 10 videos in terms of information getting out to you. Some of you are asking for a part 2 on membership. I think we'll do one tonight. So drones are flying over. We're still not getting answers. Now, Trump said here regarding that Biden border wall, which is why I brought it up. Trump says Biden's border wall sale is almost a criminal act. Will seek restraining order. Look, I will go as far to say that all this border stuff, if you were to combine everything, is treason. I don't throw that word around loosely. There's 2 people in this country right now that I think there's a very, very strong case for treason to be put forth. That is Joe Biden and DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. They allowed tens of millions of people. Because the reason why I say tens of millions is because it's either lowball 10, upwards of 25 to 30 million people if you take what's also been imported in the past. So these people are here. We know there's murderers. We know there's sex traffickers. We know there's drug traffickers. We know there's violent gang members. We know there are freaking 400,000 children missing. By the way, it's 500,000. I think Mr. President is about to get it wrong. It used to be 320,000 just a year ago. And a lot of you caught that the other week when we sat there and you go, well, I thought it was 330,000, Brad. You were correct. That's how bad. 400,000. It's 500,000, by the way. But let's go with the sake of what they're saying. 400,000 children gone. What? Where? Where do you put 400,000 people? You sell them off. In the sex trafficking, forced labor, that's what's going on. And Joey's allowing it to happen. You know, all these missing children. Can we bring out the old milk cartons again? Missing, I guarantee you there's going to be a different person in every milk carton you have in that grocery store. Why? Because Joe Biden sucks at his job and people still voted for the Democrat Party. I mean, really, let the 70 million plus people voted for freaking Kamala Harris. So he's selling our border wall for pennies, which is only going to end up costing all of us more. It's not like Donald Trump's going to give up like, oh, well, he solved the border wall. What am I going to do? I can't do anything. It's over. Yeah, I'm going to fall over like a turtle. No, he's going to freaking just buy more border wall and build it. It just delays everything, which is costing all of us money. It's sabotaging not just the Trump campaign, but all of us. Dude, I'm trying to be on my best behavior here because it's really my New Year's resolution to stop cussing on the show. And I feel like if I start now, we'll do a little bit better here when it starts January 1st. I don't understand the motive. Does he hate this country that much to where he just doesn't want a border wall? Or is he, as you will see later, is he so far gone that it's not actually him doing this? It's these deep state that know that they're screwed when Donald Trump gets in office and Elon Musk and Ramaswamy have their way with them, that they're all going to be fired. And it's kind of like their last hurrah, their last double middle finger, in the same way that we saw that with those waiters and waitresses. What was it? New York, Washington, D.C., I believe, where they're going to sit there and give terrible service to Trump workers, Trump supporters, those people, to give them the double middle finger. Is that what's going on here? I don't know. That's the thing. Or maybe all of it. Maybe Joe is gone and he goes, sell the border wall, please. And then these guys are great. It's screwing over the Trump campaign. No, you're allowing people to be murdered is what you're doing. You're allowing people to be murdered. So President-elect Donald Trump tore into Biden administration for selling off parts of the border wall following an exclusive Daily Wire investigation, which we did cover here on the show. Trump made the statement after a Daily Wire investigation revealed that the Biden administration was selling off portions of the border wall in public auctions with a goal of unloading the border wall before Trump takes office in January. Again, the portion that he's selling that's been sitting in the desert is the portion that Donald Trump was going to start using on day one to start lifting, putting it in the ground, using the concrete, the rebar, all that stuff to get a nice, beautiful border wall going. Now, it is rusted. It's not going to be super beautiful, but hell, just having it in the air is beautiful. With a goal of unloading that border wall on one Republican senator found that the administration was recouping just 0.2% of the original cost of the wall material to taxpayers. I'm going to read the quote, but I'm kind of explain the kind of idea behind this. If it was to be the idea, meaning I'm going to build an argument that doesn't make sense right now, but it would if what was I'm about to describe going to actually take place. So the administration is trying to sell off 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. Meaning they're not getting even $5 for this border wall, because who the hell is going to buy that unless you're like need to smelt down the steel or whatever. So there's people putting in like 5 cents for this border wall. What are they doing? It's almost a criminal act. They know that we're going to use it. And if we don't, we're going to rebuild it, and it will cost double what it cost years ago and hundreds of millions of dollars. Correct. So that, I believe Donald Trump was the one that actually, Trump said that. So it's going to cost you more. Why? Because inflation's up. Everything is more expensive. So not only is it going to delay the building of the border wall, but it's also going to cost you hundreds of millions of dollars more money. And so this is Joe Biden giving the double middle finger, as if he's been giving us these. I don't want to flip you guys off, but the double middle finger since he's been in office. Rising gas prices, grocery prices, your rent's gone up, your mortgage rates have gone up, your interest rates have gone up. You can't finance a car, not that you should, but you understand what I mean. Everything's gone up. And so he's like, well, screw you guys. Here's the double middle finger. Now I'm going to do this to you. I spoke. So let's just hear it from Trump, actually. There's a clip down here. Let's get that going.
We ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. It's very expensive. And now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago. And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars, because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, we can do some more, because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, and that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation. And all it means really is that we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more, not even talking about the time. Time would be pretty long, but we'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars more on building the same wall that we already have.
You notice Trump's demeanor has changed a lot? Not in a bad way. He sounds presidential. Like a New Yorker, but he sounds presidential. And, he has those little rough edges. But here's the thing. He doesn't need to act like he did in 2016 or even 2020. The Democrats have destroyed this country so much that he literally doesn't have to do anything other than talk about the fact that they're trying to destroy this country still on their way out. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if it's like a lack of love of country. I don't know if the Biden-Harris administration hate this nation. I'm not guys, it just doesn't make sense to me. Here's the only way that this could make sense. Let me explain. So you see how he says here, one Republican senator found that the administration was recouping just 0.2% of the original cost of the wall material for taxpayers. We're $36 trillion in debt. If you were to make the case that you wanted to sell off this border wall to pay off some sort of debt, I don't agree with this, by the way, I'm just merely making a case for it, then it would make sense, but not putting it $5, putting it off somewhere else and selling it that way. I don't agree with it. I don't even think it makes sense. But if we had to sit there and make an argument for what's going on, that's the argument that would be made. But it still falls short because that's not even what's taking place at all. So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. Think of some sort of reason as to why, as the president of the United States, you would do something like this. It's odd as hell, is it not? It's weird. We got, folks, we have a lot of people watching. Anybody here have any idea as to why you would do something like this? Like a rational idea. Throw it in the chat and I'll read them. But I'm curious, like, what the hell's going on here? Why interfere with an enemy when they are in the process of destroying themselves? Maybe. You also have Joey conducting airstrikes against Islamic terrorists in Syria, Yemen. I agree with this move. So, look, he does a lot of things wrong. Joey does a lot of things wrong. And I can maybe count on one hand the amount of things he's done right. This is one of them. In 4 years, this is one of the 5. The U.S. military carried out airstrikes against Islamic terrorists on Monday in Syria and Yemen. Yemen. By the way, it might be less than 5, okay? U.S. Central Command first announced strikes against ISIS in Syria as officials are becoming increasingly worried that the terrorist group could reestablish a caliphate there with the fall of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. I find it interesting that they are very concerned about terrorists reestablishing a caliphate in somebody else's country, but they're not concerned about the terrorists that are being here in our country right now because Joe Biden allowed them to come through the southern border, but also the northern border. Hell, well, just everywhere because we don't have a border. I find it very fascinating that this is what they're putting a ton of effort into everybody else's countries other than our own. And I'm telling you, you got to watch. I keep plugging it. You know what? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to send you guys the video because it's that important to what's going on right now. It really is. The video that I posted on Sunday where the CIA exposes the Biden administration, where Joe Biden is legitimately funding, here's the video, is legitimately funding terrorism in this country. That is not, it's not a phrase that I just throw around lightly. It is 100% true. I'm going to say it again. Joe Biden is funding terrorism. Said terrorism that's being funded is going straight to an attack that is probably going to happen here in the United States. Sarah Adams, former CIA analyst that was responsible for putting terrorists away and tracking them down, is coming out and saying all this stuff. Your head is going to spin. And I bring that up because everything you're seeing is giving me the antennas going off, the inclination that there's going to be something here in our homeland. And she's saying it's either going to be an embassy or it's going to be the Capitol or something. And I'm worried because in about a month, what do you have coming up? The inauguration. Exactly. We're still giving money to Afghanistan. Oh, and you want to find out the real numbers? Watch that video, Angel. Watch that. 99 cents, my friend. It's worth it because it's not just $87 million every 2 weeks. Let me tell you that much. Oh, we were wrong big time. And for those that did watch it, you know what I'm talking about. We were way wrong on our number. It's way more than that. Way more than that. I mean, literally the money is going to terrorists. Like it's going to Al-Qaeda camps. Joey is giving money to Al-Qaeda camps. I'm going to get pissed off here. I'm going to get ramped up. The precision airstrikes targeted known ISIS camps, which is good. Bomb the crap out of them. I don't like ISIS. I don't like terrorists. At least 12 ISIS terrorists were killed. Good. During an operation, and damage assessments were underway to determine the overall effectiveness of the strike. You know what's crazy is people go, oh my God, how could you sit there and be happy that people died? They're terrorists. They're going to kill you. I feel like there's like such like a disconnection now because everything predominantly is pretty good. I understand things are bad with Joey. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're not exactly like living in dirt and freaking straw huts here, right? We got heating, air conditioning available to us, like certain things. We all have a phone. These people are going to kill you. So it's either they get got dead or you get got dead. Somebody's dying here. And I'd rather it be them than anybody else. But they still can't rationalize that. That's the remarkable thing. There are still some progressives out there that can't rationalize that. They're just trying to live just like we are. Skinning people alive and putting them in cages is them living? You're an idiot. You know what? We should send them to ISIS and let them know how that works out. Yeah, just go have a conversation. Just have a conversation with them. The strikes against the ISIS leader operatives and camps were conducted as part of an ongoing mission to disrupt, degrade, and defeat ISIS, preventing the terrorist group from conducting external operations and to ensure that ISIS does not seek opportunities to reconstitute in central Syria. It's amazing how Donald Trump wiped out wiped out ISIS. Not 100%, right? But pretty much just crippled them. And then you get a Democrat back in office that's just miraculously, just oddly funding terrorism, and ISIS is making a comeback. It's just odd that all of a sudden you're hearing all this terrorist talk, right? That's happening around the globe when a Democrat gets in office. It's also weird how that happened with Barack Obama, was it not? Weird, right? Weird. In the same way, it's really weird. I mean, this has nothing to do with this article. It's really weird that both Barack Obama and Joe Biden are the only two presidents to pardon people like over 1,000, like over 1,500. I don't know if you guys saw that graph. Maybe, let's see if we can pull it up. We got time. Let me see. I think I did post it. I hope I did. There's a graph here. I did. Look at me. Look at me. We're quick with the fingers. Joe Biden is pardoning all the criminals. I lowballed it, by the way. I had to use like the number because Barack didn't hit 2,000. This is the last presidents going back to Nixon. Okay? Just look at the pardons. Okay? Look at the pardons and look at Barack and Joey. Which ones don't look like the others? Now, if you did that, you would see that they're mostly Democrats that are the top. Actually, I should have said it mostly. They are. All the top five or six pardons are all Democrats. There's not a single Republican in that list. Check this one out. What doesn't look like the others? Yeah, it does speak volumes. Exactly, Mark. Mark said it perfectly. The pardons speak volumes. Look at, we are live, right? Like, I don't know if he's really live. Does he actually see us? Yes, I do. You guys know I see you, baby. You're the Patriots. Look at Joe's number. Look at FDR, Democrat. Barack Obama, Democrat. Joe Biden, Democrat. Does speak volumes. Where's the money going, Joe? To terrorists. That's where it's going. To terrorists. People go, oh, well, I don't know. It might not be. No, it is. It is. Now you got ISIS making a comeback. And then Joe's so far gone that I'm not actually sure this guy's aware of what is going on. I don't mean that in a literal sense. We're about to get into Joey's cognitive mind gone, right? The media didn't want to cover it. The Democrats still would vote for it. Remember, most popular president in American history, allegedly. And they booted the guy for Kamala Harris. So Biden comes out and it's rough. Falsely claims he got 100 hostages out of Gaza. I got the clip. Hey, Brad, you got clips? You got receipts? Always. Come on. You guys think I just pulled this stuff out of my tush? I always got the receipts, baby. Now, sometimes I don't because I'm pulling from prior memory of stuff I've either read in the news or that we've covered in the past. So here's Joe drooling into a drip tray.
The trauma of that day and its aftermath is still raw and ongoing. I've gotten over 100 hostages out. I will not stop till I get every single one of them home. The trauma of
Okay. Somebody needs to tell Joe, no, he didn't. He didn't. He made that number up. Where it came from, I don't know where he got that number, but folks, the trauma of that day and aftermath is raw and ongoing. Biden said October 7th. Quote, I've gotten over 100 hostages out. I will not stop until I get every single one of them home. Of the initial 251 hostages taken, 117 have been returned to Israel so far. 8 were rescued by Israel Defense Forces. 105 were released as part of a ceasefire agreement between Hamas and Israel, and 4 were released by the terrorists. Critics responded to Biden's claim, saying that he was lying to inflate his role in the negotiations that resulted in the release of some hostages and temporary ceasefire agreements between Israel and Hamas. Meaning he sat there and pulled it out of his you-know-what. And Mr. Trump knows, 100% dishonest, 100% lying. People called him out. What an insult he always manages to be. Oh, he's a freaking joke. Joe's a joke. I mean, and this guy's on the world stage. Wait, what? When did he do that? Red State's Bonchi asked, correct? If hostages were released on Inauguration Day because of Trump's threats, the shameless Biden White House will take full credit for it. Oh, of course. Yeah, they'll say, oh, Trump's just riding on our coattails. He's just sitting there finalizing the agreements that we made. He's just sitting there taking all the what is it? Not all the power, but all the recognition for it. Mm-hmm. Disgusting that he takes credit for this. Well, he takes credit for everything. But when it works against him, he won't take credit, right? Well, what's an example? Here we go. Here's another example. The gas prices. I love this one, right? Because gas prices went up and he blamed it on Putin. And there's a famous thing called the Putin's price hike that they labeled it. Problem was, gas prices were already going up before Putin ever invaded Ukraine. Like a sharp spike. But they can't explain that one. It's not Joey's fault. It's somebody else's fault, meaning Putin. Xi Jinping. Kim Jong-un for some reason. He doesn't even know what fucking oil is. So, there we go. I cussed. There we go. I almost made it. How far did we get into the show? 35 minutes? I don't know. So, it's pretty good. I don't remember what I was saying now. Yeah. So Joey sits there, he exaggerates things, he blames it on other people, but when it works in his favor, he is going to sit there and take credit for it. So when gas prices started going down a little bit, guess what? He's like, look what I did. Look what I did. And no joke, like a week later, they spike back up. It's Putin's fault. It's Putin's fault. It's a real thing, and it did happen. So that's what he does there. Biden raised eyebrows over the weekend when he claimed that at a holiday reception hosted by the DNC that he had run a campaign that was basically scandal-free. Yeah. So let's jump into that article. I told you he's gone. I mean, you knew this, right? He's talking to dead people. Should we do the opener that we used to have? Joe Biden sits there and hits a golf ball backwards, falls up a flight of stairs, looks for dead people in the crowd, converses with dead people to the point where he's not just talking to them, but he's also seeing them. Joe Biden wanders off, gets lost. The Secret Service has to find him, roaming around the White House naked, doesn't have a clue, drooling into a drip tray, losing his train of thoughts, doesn't know his admiral's name, doesn't even know his own wife's name, and it's bad. And we're about to see a clip here from James O'Keefe in a little bit displaying how bad it really is. President Joe Biden claimed on Sunday that he had run a campaign. It's going to be such a good article. I'm not going to get through it. I already know. Free from scandal and critics. And we're quick to point out the errors in that particular statement. Oh, you think? You think? Can't believe we said this. Compose yourself, Brad. We've run a campaign that's basically scandal-free. That's hard to do in American politics these days. This guy, dude. He's just not there. He's gone. Where'd Joe go? Is there a clip? Please tell me. Oh, God, there's a clip. Thank you, God. It's too good. Thank you.
We run a campaign that's basically scandal. We run a campaign that's basically scandal-free. It's hard to do in American politics these days.
Serious? Oh God. I'm just can I just throw up a few? Just a few. Afghanistan withdrawal, illegal alien invasion, being caught with classified documents, cocaine in the White House, Chinese spy balloon, medical emergency forcing him out of the race, lying about pardoning Hunter, just to name a few really quick. Yeah, Joe. It's all scandal free, buddy. Nothing to see here. It's really a mind-blowing thing coming from Joe to even say any of those things. But should we expect somebody to post or say something like that's as far gone as Joe? We should expect that, right? Joey's not with us. God, it's so good. So here's the critics. Does Joe not know what year it is? No, he probably doesn't. That's the baffling thing. He probably doesn't know. I bring that up. Here's another receipt. Because remember when he was running for president? Not this time around. Like 4 years around ago. Remember when he was like, I'm running for senator. And you're like, what? Huh? I'm running for the senator of Delaware. What? And he's on the stage running for president. Like, then he calls Kamala Harris president how many times? You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe she was the one running the show this entire time because she can't sit there and figure out a budget for a campaign. Can you imagine her running the federal government? Maybe there's some truth to that because look where we're at now. Got an individual here saying, sure, but only if we don't include Afghanistan withdrawal, illegal alien invasion, being caught with classified documents, cocaine in the White House, Chinese spy balloon, medical emergency forcing him out of the race, lying about pardoning Hunter, just to name a few. That's the one we read. So he won. Yeah. Joe Biden says his entire campaign was scandal-free. Another post. Who wants to tell him? Well, he'll just probably scream at you and yell at you if you do. Biden raised eyebrows last week when just days after issuing a sweeping pardon to his embattled son Hunter, he commuted some 1,500 sentences in one day. 1,500. I'm not against pardons, but I just find it odd, very, very odd, that you did like 8,000 of them. Like, who are you pardoning? I would imagine it's public, right? I'd imagine. I don't know. Well, here's this guy where James O'Keefe, who we've been highlighted on his old business, talking about all the stuff that's going on in the school systems. We had our like 6 seconds of fame, by the way. Back on Project Veritas, we were highlighted there years ago, which was cool because we only had like 500 subscribers back then. Well, he's back here and he says, a shocking undercover video. Joe Biden is dead. National Security Council advisor in the White House details Biden can't say a sentence. I want to be clear. Joe Biden is not actually dead, but it basically, yeah, he might as well be. I don't wish that upon anybody, but I'm talking like he's basically dead.
Well, here's the tea. Joe Biden is like dead. He like can't say a sentence. He's like really like progressed in his old age. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal at Claire. He'll be dead in a year.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor for the National Security Council. Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
My boss was on an international trip with him, like in Europe or something. The phone rang in the office, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. President, Henry." He was like, "You stay there." He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are."
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told Biden that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he would call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later, asking for Sullivan again.
A couple weeks ago, I was like the last one in the office, and he called from my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, "Hello, Mr. President, like, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get him on the line for you." And he like asked me some questions, and I was like, "I don't know, like, let me get the track him down. So I'll call his Secret Service detail." It's like, I'll try his like unclassified phone, like then like 10 seconds later, same phone. I picked it up again. I was like, "Hi again, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" And I was like, "No, you called the same office."
Henry Appel stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House.
Another time my boss went in to brief him, I heard the talking points. I said like, "Oh, this is like a novel phenomenon or something. Like it's new, like it hasn't been done before." My boss said it. I was just like novel? Like, what do you mean, like a book? Like, what do you mean novel? The true meanings of the word novel, like he lost them.
Henry even goes on to say, on his dating profile, his greatest strength is, quote, oversharing on the first date. You can't make this.
So head over to James O'Keefe's Twitter page. I guess X, I keep saying Twitter. And, go ahead and follow him and check that video out. But there's a lot more there. And, it makes sense why we're where we're at. Because Democrats thought this was better than Trump. That's why it's really hard for me to rationalize with Democrats. I keep saying that. I don't mean to pick them apart all the time. They do some things that are good. Like, I'm talking about our average Americans. I'm not talking about the politics. I'm talking about just American patriots out there that are Democrats too. I have a tough time taking you serious when you voted for a guy that's cognitively not there, and we told you that he wasn't cognitively there years ago, and you still voted him in. Now we all had to deal with the crap that Joe and you started. And so now we got Donald Trump in here to have to fix everything again. So let me get this straight. After Barack Obama ran roughshod over this country, Donald Trump had to come in and clean up the mess, right? Did the best he could. China sat there and released the virus onto the globe. Democrats thought that it'd be better to have Joey in office, a dead guy, by his own people's accord. Just completely obliterates this nation to the point where I don't know if Trump could do it in 4 years. I don't know. Hope he can. We'll see. So now Trump has to come in and clean up the mess again. It's amazing. But it's common. It's a common theme. This is not, we're talking on a presidential level. They do this on a local level. You guys look at the state of California. They cripple the state. They crap in their own bed and they go, "Ooh, stinky, yucky, smells bad." And they go to your state and crap in your bed. They've always done this. It's nothing new. Everything they've ever done sucks primarily. Social FDR stuff. The New Deal sucks primarily. I don't need to get into that. We got a lot more stuff to cover here. Trump, speaking of things that sucks that he's going to try to fix here, is the remote working deal that Biden created, where a union vows to fight back. President-elect Donald Trump Monday indicated that he plans to push back on President Biden's move to reach an agreement that would allow tens of thousands of federal workers to remain in hybrid work arrangement with telework through 2029. Biden made an agreement with these federal work individuals where they get to work like from home for 5 years. Through 2029, this is a new one. Folks, this will be almost a decade after COVID. What? I would love to work from home. Why don't I just work from home, you guys? That'd be great. I'll teach from home. No big deal. I don't have to do anything. I just sit in front of a camera and just talk. I don't have to deal with behavior problems or nothing. My life would be a dream. I don't have to do anything. Just sit there and do what I'm doing now, basically. Thank you, Lulu, for saying smash the like button. Greatly appreciate that. Oh, I didn't know we could do goals here. Well, let me click this real quick. What does this mean? Make Super Chat more fun with a goal. I'm just going to do this. Share how you'll celebrate Trump impression. Hold on, you guys. So this is new. I don't care if we reach it or not. I just want to do it to see what happens. Okay, so we did a goal that's live. Brad just started a goal. That's kind of cool. I don't know. All right, well, that's there. We'll do a Trump impression if we reach $2. So, anyway, sorry, I wanted to see if there was fan funding because I haven't even looked at this, and I apologize if I missed you. Total deviation. Oh, there you go. Let's do it. Thanks, Lou. That's kind of you. Yeah, there's only $2 and like I think $10 or something. $10 was too high. So I was like, oh, what is this? That's new. I've never seen it before. Maybe we'll start doing that stuff. Anywho, don't even know what the hell I was talking about here. Oh, I'd love to teach from home. You don't have to deal with behavioral issues. So here, we're talking about friendly takeover, a friendly transition, as they like to say. This is a friendly transition, and it is. But there are two events that took place that I think are very terrible. Did I just click on a whole nother thing? Oh, it went down. One is that if people don't come back to work, come back into the office, they're going to be dismissed. And somebody in the Biden administration gave a 5-year waiver for that. So that for 5 years, people don't have to come back in the office. It involved 49,000 people for 5 years. They don't have to go. They just sign this thing. It's ridiculous. So it was like a gift to a union, and we're going to obviously be in court to stop it. I think that needs to happen. It'd be one thing if the government was efficient and everything was working well. The government sucks. If the government sucks and somebody works for the government, most likely that person might be lazy. Maybe not. Maybe they're killing it. Maybe they're working really, really hard. You do it in the office. Go into work. Go into work and touch grass. Meet somebody. Meet somebody. We got a lot of news to cover. We're running out of time here. EOs can be undone. I hope so. What are you guys writing over at Rumble? I want to give some shout outs. Bald Brad sounds like a hot dog at Pinky's. Pink's is good, man. Or a meal at some restaurant. I have the Bald Brad, please. Oh, dude, we should do a Bald Brad dog. It's just nothing on it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I cracked myself up. You guys, that's my real personality, by the way. I laugh at everything, and it's got me in some big trouble in life, but that's good, right? There's a place called Pink's Hot Dog for those. I got to explain the joke. Pink's Hot Dogs is a very famous hot dog place in Los Angeles. It's actually really, really good. And you can create your own dog if you're a celebrity. So there's a lot of celebrity names like, oh, I want like the Tom Hanks, right? Tom Hanks made a hot dog and it gets on the list. So since I'm bald, I just said, hey, we'll just have a hot dog with nothing on it. I thought that was a great joke. I really did think that was a great joke. The dad joke. I'm not a dad, but I'm actually really happy with that. That really, you know what? That's good for 6:58 in the morning. That's why you guys come here. Now, the big news, this is terrible. I hate to cover this at the end, but Madison, Wisconsin school shooting leaves 2 dead, 6 injured, juvenile suspect dead. There's some updates here because it's happened, I believe, yesterday during the day. And let me just tell you, when I was at work the other day, this was last week. There was fireworks that went off extremely nearby. And I was walking with my coworker because we were going to scan some stuff. And there's a couple other teachers behind us, and everybody in the quad stopped when the fireworks went off. Because honestly, it sounded like 45 rounds. Like it didn't sound like a 22, it didn't sound like a 9mm, it sounded like a 45. Everyone stopped, kind of looked at each other, and they went off again because I was trying to hear the repetition to see if it was, because this is very similar in the echo when it bounces off the building and stuff like that can really mess with you. So, you know, it's not a fun feeling when you're at work going, oh shoot, is there a shooting going on? That's not very fun. But ended up just being fireworks. But you know, anywho. So police identified the shooter, who they said opened fire inside a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin, killing a teacher and teen student and injuring 6 others on Monday. By the way, not a good feeling when you're in a situation like that. And let's just say you weren't 100% sure and you're not strapped. Not fun. And I'm told I have to defend myself with a pencil. And I shit you not, that's what I was told. I have to defend myself with a pencil and a stapler. Oh, goody. That's going to be fun going up against a guy with a rifle. It doesn't have to be a rifle. It could be a gun, like a little handgun, a little pistol. That's fun. Who do you think's going to win that one, guys? Guy with pistol, bald Brad with a freaking pencil. Who's going to win? Probably me. If you got the answer wrong, if you said they got the pistol, you're wrong. It's me. So Madison Police Chief, 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who goes by Samantha. Oh, there you go. There you go. It tells you, I'm starting to lean a little something here. Opened fire inside this Christian school, which is terrible. Just terrible. Barnes said the shooting took place during study hall with multiple grades in the room. Police said evidence suggests the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Barnes added officials are speaking with Rupnow's father, who is cooperating with police. Oh, God. Barnes said a second grade student 911 call at 10:57. Second grade student, a second grade student called 911. Wow. To report a shooting had occurred at school. We'll let that sink in for a minute. A second grade student called 911. Barnes added that 2 students are still in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. A teacher and 3 other students were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Barnes said 2 of those individuals have since been released. The teacher and student that were killed in the shooting have not yet been identified. Barnes used a handgun in the shooting. There you go. So, you know, Joe's already come out and said he wants gun control, right? That's the whole agenda of the Democrats, sit there and pounce on this and go, oh, we can use this for our game because we want to remove guns. And their answer was remove all semi-automatic firearms. That's every gun out there. You can't own, unless you have a certain license to have an automatic weapon, you can. Most people don't meet that criteria, like by far, not even close. So it's illegal to have a automatic firearm unless you have that said license. So everybody primarily has just a semi-automatic firearm, handgun, rifle, doesn't matter what it is. They want to remove all of it. How do I know that? Because Joe straight up just came out and said it one year. And I was like my jaw dropped because he took an oath to uphold the Constitution, and the president of the United States is sitting there. The lead law enforcement official of the country is sitting there wanting to take away your rights. And the Democrats go, no, he doesn't. He just wants to sit there and limit them. He just wants to limit them. You can still get a gun. It says don't infringe. Don't infringe. That's what you're doing by limiting. You just swapped the words out. And now you're seeing the play that Democrats do here, especially these politicians, is that they found that if they could just sit there and change the definition of words, well, then they can get what they want. They've been doing it for years. There's a great book by Michael Knowles called Speechless that talks all about that. Fabulous book. Again, it's called Speechless. by Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire, phenomenal book. Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever. We need to figure out and try to piece together what exactly happened. Well, you let a kid into the school system with a gun. I mean, that's what you did. So we have the, is this the police chief? Yeah, Chief Barnes here suggests that police were not able to determine whether the body they found was either male or female, though it's possible that he was referring to the suspect's known professed gender identity. So here, it's unbelievable to me.
It's a male or female, for the media is to our community. But the truth is, today is a sad, sad day, not only for Madison, but for our entire country, where yet another police chief is doing a press conference to speak about violence in our community, specifically in one of the places that's most sacred to me as someone who loves education and to someone who has children that are in schools. So I'm gonna tell you what I know. I'll answer any questions that I can. There'll be a secondary briefing that our PIO will let you know about, okay? Today, around 10:57 a.m., our officers were responding to a call of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School here in Madison. When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We train on this almost quarterly. The last time we trained on this as commanders was approximately 2 weeks ago. The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly. We had officers from around the county and around the state that came in support of this particular incident. Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded and making sure that those persons were transported. What we know is that a total of about 7 persons were transported from this scene to area hospitals for treatment. We know that at least 3 people have lost their lives, including a juvenile person. I don't have any other information about those persons who have lost their lives, and I'm not going to release that until we have, of course, spoken with family members and ensuring that they are fully aware of this tragic, tragic scene that occurred today. I want to thank all of the law enforcement partners and community members that came out to help, our friends at the ATF. I've gotten calls from my friends at the FBI, the State Patrol, the Sheriff's Office, Monona Police Department, our fire department. It goes on and on and on. Because this is something that we all prepare for, but we hope we never have to do. As you can see, we have a unification center that was immediately set up where parents and guardians and loved ones and grandparents wanted to get information about their loved ones, and we wanted to make sure that they were unified immediately. So we were doing more than one thing at one time. We're still going through methodically clearing that school, clearing every vehicle, and making certain that there's no other threats to this community, which we believe there are none. We immediately alerted our mayor's office, and I've been on the phone with her and her office constantly. We also alerted Madison schools. We put the schools on lockdown, but there's no threats to MMSD schools at this time. But we wanted to make sure that we did our due diligence in this particular case. Again, we're still going through collecting evidence, collecting information, making sure that our community is safe from what is a sad day for our community and for our country. And we have to do a little bit better. I don't have all the answers that you want right now, but I will tell you this. We have some of the best officers in the entire country. Our detectives are amazing. We're going to go and work hard and go through this scene so that we can piece together what exactly happened. Again, there'll be another briefing in about 2 hours, and if I have additional information, I will certainly let you know what that information is. Again, around 10:57 a.m., officers responded to an active shooter. They responded per our protocol. They found the person who they believe was responsible. who was down, deceased. We know that it's juvenile. We know that there are other persons who have lost their lives. We know that we've transported about 7 people after giving them life-saving measures. It's important to notice too.
So it goes on for quite a while here. But again, he says here, and I'm going to read this again. He was not able to determine whether the body that was found was either male or female, though it's possible he was referring to the suspect's unknown professed gender identity. The reason why I want to emphasize that is Christian school. This person could have been maybe trans, clearly dealing with something, and we have to sit there, and I know people don't like when I say that, sit there, but we have to pretend to show respect to this person that just murdered a bunch of people and shot a bunch of people. I don't get, and it's not the first time this has happened, this type of story where you have a trans person, allegedly trans person. I don't know for sure. They don't even know. It seems like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Alleged trans person going and committing a school shooting. And then you have the police and law enforcement showing respect to the shooter by going, well, we don't know if it was a she or he or what it was. We want to make sure we do our due diligence. Give me a break. Give me a break. It's kind of like that idea when Joe Biden sat there. See what I did there? When Joe Biden said that that criminal that killed Laken Riley was an illegal alien. He like took his words back and he apologized. Says here, in a follow-up briefing later on Monday, Chief Barnes replaced the words male or female with gender. And instead of reiterating that he didn't know whether the suspect was male or female, he said that this office was not releasing any details about the suspect's sexual status. Why not? Why not? Normally they go, oh, it was a white male, age 17, long hair, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden now you don't want to release this stuff, huh? Weird. We know that the suspect shooter was a teenage student who attended the school. At this time, we're not releasing the age or gender of the student or any other identifying remarks about the student. Why are police trying to hide this fact? Sorter asked in a post reacting to Chief Barnes' latest evasion. The shooter has been identified as a female per multiple sources without naming his source. Subsequently, the Associated Press reported the suspect was a 17-year-old female student, according to an unnamed law enforcement officer. So we got some updates here. At least 2 killed after shooter opened fire. At least 2 people were killed and 7 others were wounded after the juvenile opened fire on a Christian school. The Madison Department initially reported that 5 people, including the shooter, were killed, but later said the information was erroneously shared. The shooter was found dead when officers arrived at the scene at 10:57. Police immediately began life-saving efforts on the wounded. Chief Barnes said in a press conference that police believe the shooter was a student at the school, but he did not identify the shooter. The police department did not fire their weapons. The police chief did not say if the victims were students or teachers, saying that the immediate priority was notifying families. Barnes said the injuries range from minor to life-threatening. ALCS was beginning its last week before Christmas break, which is just terrible. The school offers education for students from kindergarten through 12th. That's a big school. Or it could be small and it just offers a range. It's probably a big school. Prayers requested today. Active shooter. So I think there's a little bit more updates from actually Fox News here than anything. So if you want to head over to this article to get more information than what I'm giving, Fox News had this updated as of yesterday at 1 p.m. There's probably more information out. Saw a manifesto or transifesto from the shooter mentioned. I wouldn't doubt it. There probably is a manifesto. There's probably something like a journal, or there's always something, right? I'm off to work. You all have a great day. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate you. Joanne says they won't identify gender because Madison is an extremely liberal city. Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. Probably is truth to that. This woke crap is destroying young minds. Absolutely. Morning, Patriots. It's been a while. Good morning. Hey, what's going on, Mike? Good to see you. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, Mike. Good morning. Marion says, are you sure it's Biden who is doing all, not the oh bummer? Could be both. Could be a lot of people having their hands in the pot. Who knows? Who knows? I guess we'll have to, we'll end it there. I got to get to work here, folks, but we have a lot more news to cover. As you see, I always do this. I get through like half my show. We will be doing longer episodes starting next week because I'll be on a 2-week winter vacation. We'll be going longer. So be prepared for a longer stream If you want to bounce out at any time, you're obviously more than welcome to do that. But I want to make sure I get into long news. So if it goes an hour, it goes for over an hour. There is 100% guarantee. I have a reminder on my phone. I'm going to make a members only video tonight. I don't know what it's going to be on. It could be on about education. We might do a part 2 of Sarah Adams from the Sean Ryan podcast that we have access to. I don't know what we're going to do, but there's going to be something specifically for members. If you want to join here on YouTube, I haven't figured out how to get it over on either Locals or Rumble just for members only. It's 99 cents over at YouTube, and I'll try to figure out the Rumble and Locals. It looks like Locals is down for me or something, so I'll see if Dylan can help me out with that or somebody over there on Rumble. But I greatly appreciate you. Love you. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump and his protection. We need the man more than ever, and so does the world. And we'll be back here tomorrow for another episode at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the Bald Brad channel. Thank you, Patriots.